You've watched a ton of Legion Go, ROG Ally, and Steam Deck reviews because you want a mobile gaming device, but you still can't decide, can you? I was there too. So this video is made to help you decide when it comes to the Legion Go. The Legion Go is a great product that actually surprised me. After watching a million reviews, spending 2 weeks with the Legion Go, and holding the ROG Ally in my hands, hearing how amazing those speakers are, that's my only experience with the ROG Ally, by the way, versus the Legion Go, here's my review. I have no experience with the Steam Deck, by the way, but that's honestly in its own category. Everyone knows it's way less powerful and stuff. Um, I'll be talking most of the time with real and raw Legion Go gameplay in the background. That way you can see how it plays, which is literally the most important part. Right now I got Mortal Kombat 11. I'm sorry if it looks low quality. The way I recorded it wasn't ideal, but I did what I had to do. And by the way, Mortal Kombat 11 right now is every single setting is on its highest setting, and I'm pulling 55 FPS the whole way through. It goes down to like 47 sometimes, and it goes all the way up to 60 sometimes. So that's amazing. Okay, let's get into it. Let's get it, man. I'll be getting the positives out of the way in this video first, and then you really want to stick around for the negatives though, because there's a good chance that there's a deal breaker in there, unfortunately. Okay, so I have a list here. I am sticking to a kind of small script, so let's get it. First thing I wrote down was controller vibration, and yes, in my opinion, it is definitely a positive. I can see if someone complains about it. It's not like an Xbox or definitely not like a PlayStation 5 controller level of vibration. It's just like vibration that you can tell they put in there. They have 4 different settings. The first one is off, and then there's low, medium, and high. And the high setting is actually pretty good, very strong, very responsive. There is a small diversity in the vibrations, but again, it's nothing like an Xbox One or definitely nothing like a PS5 controller in terms of the vibration and feedback and stuff, but it's still very, very good. I mean, it makes you realize how good an Xbox One controller is, and I'm not a PlayStation guy, so I don't know how good theirs is, but I know it's better than the Xbox, because I remember when it was coming out, that was like a huge selling point of the PS5 controller. So yeah, it's definitely not as good as that, and it's not as good as an Xbox, but those controllers are just so good. Like, it makes you realize how good they are. This one feels fine. Um, it is a little loud. Uh, so yeah. The second thing is this thing has actually amazing performance. I mean, it might actually be comparable to like a first gen Xbox One or PlayStation 4 or whatever came out with alongside the Xbox One. Yeah, PS4. What am I talking about? It might actually be that considerable. Like I told you, Mortal Kombat 11 on all high settings, constantly getting, it never dipped below 47 FPS, but it was constantly pretty much at 54, 55. And if I just go ahead and lower everything off of Ultra, it sticks at a steady 60 FPS. I benchmarked it multiple times. I don't know why I didn't make a video on it. But yeah, I just didn't have the time. I only had 2 weeks with this thing. I have a busy life and everything. So yeah, the next thing I wrote down was the stand on the back of this thing. So as you know, the controllers detach as a like a Nintendo Switch type controller, and then this thing, basically you can just have the screen there. Well, there's a stand there. Now I'll say, even when you don't have the controllers detached, this stand can still be useful if you're just watching a video on it or whatever, or even when you're playing games. I actually caught myself, I think, I don't know what game it was, but I was playing a game for a few minutes with it on the stand while using the controllers. So unless you've had one before, you might not realize that it was actually kind of comfortable, but it was more comfortable to hold it. The point is, the stand is actually really useful and really underrated, especially if you do want to connect your Xbox One controller, or PS5 controller can even connect. You can do that with the stand and have it standing up. It's perfect. It's really something that the ROG Ally and Steam Deck are missing. I don't know why they don't have one. It just seems so common sense once you see the Legion Go have one. Okay, the next thing I wrote down, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, is the screen. All right, everyone knows, if this video is more for people who have already watched a lot of reviews and don't care about the specs and stuff, okay? Like, yeah, the screen is 1440p. It looks amazing. Something I'll tell you in my personal experience, because that's probably why you're watching the video, right? You want like more in-depth experience. So I was in the car on a sunny day. I have 2 sunroofs on my car. I had the sunroof open. I was playing on my Legion Go in the passenger seat while the sun was out, and obviously the glares were annoying, but once I angled it properly on full brightness, it actually looked just fine. It looked great. So you can play this outdoors, kind of in direct sunlight. Not really. You got to angle it away, but then it's playable. So that is just amazing. I'm not going to spend too much time on the screen. It looks beautiful. If you're like me, you probably want to know. No, it does not support HDR, and it does not have HDR. Okay? So if you're like me and you really value HDR, unfortunately, this just doesn't have it. You cannot connect it to an HDR monitor and get HDR. It will not work. Okay? So nothing about the Legion Go can do any type of HDR. Unfortunately, I'm sorry about that. um, and also, it actually feels great in the hands. The controller, once you get used to it from an Xbox or PS5 controller, you got to get a little used to it. But once I got used to it, it felt amazing. I have literally no complaints. I guess people were complaining that, oh, it pushes in your hands after a little bit. I mean, yeah, I guess it does. Kinda. It would be better if it was more rounded, but that was actually way less of an issue than people made it seem. So I don't know why people kept bringing that up. It's like these YouTubers get scripts or something. Like from the companies on what to say. Like ROG gave them a script and say, hey, make a Legion Go review, but bash it and say stupid stuff like this. Because yeah, it is technically an issue, but it's only an issue because of the reviews brought it to my attention, honestly. Otherwise, it wasn't, like, I would have probably not noticed it very much. Um, the other thing I wrote down is, I just want to say, if you live in a small space, and you do have an external monitor, you can get a little keyboard, a little mouse, and this can be your, like, your desktop replacement if you don't need like a whole lot of power, right? This can be a good desktop replacement for people who live in tiny homes or just small areas, or they just don't have a lot of space. That's one of the great things about this thing, and you can just unplug it and bam, you got the whole computer right there with you. It's more versatile than a laptop in that sense. So for non-gaming related stuff, that's amazing. It can be used as a small HD Windows tablet slash computer. I mean, honestly, if I had the choice between the Surface Pro that's $1 million overpriced or this, I just have to buy the extra mouse, buy the keyboard. Yeah, I would choose this, like for sure. Plus, this can game better than that, most likely. Yeah, and it's way cheaper. Yeah. So if you need like a small Windows tablet or computer and you don't really want a laptop for whatever reason, I will say a laptop is way more practical than this, because then you have to have an external keyboard, external mouse, and all that. But if you don't have a lot of space and you want like a small desktop type situation, this is pretty cool for that. With an eGPU, we'll get into that later in the video, believe it or not. So this thing has actually introduced me to two really amazing products. I will have them linked in the description. These are things that you might want even if you don't buy this. They're just very, very, very good things to have. If you do buy one through the link in my description, I'll get a small commission and it'll really help me out. I'll be very appreciative of that. So if these are things that interest you, let me know. I'm gonna be very honest though. I'm not gonna just hype them up because I can get a commission if you buy it. No, 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 none of that. I'm gonna tell you the truth. So there's a portable charger. It should be on the screen right now. It is 100 watts. It can do 100-watt output. So even if you have a like ROG the Zephyrus laptops, this thing should be able to charge that. It can charge your laptops because it can put out enough wattage. So here's the cool thing, right? I can plug my S22 Ultra in and get it from 0 to 100% in like 55 minutes or whatever, right? Because it can do the super fast charging. But I can also plug a different phone in and it can super fast charge that one. Now, obviously, it's going to be slower because you're charging two devices, but it can fast charge up to 3 devices at once. I think it has 3 USB-C ports, 2 USB-A ports, and it has a little screen on it to show you the voltage, the wattage, and I think the amps or something too, and then what percent the external battery is on. It is amazing. I bought it for the Legion Go originally, but now I just use it every day. I've returned my Legion Go, and this thing would give me like, it would double the battery life of the Legion Go basically. So it is absolutely amazing. I highly recommend if you need a good portable charger for any reason at all, even just in a survival kit or something. The other thing is far more useful. And with either, by the way, with both of these devices, you need to make sure you have a cable that is PD, power delivery, okay? That way it can do everything it needs to do. It can charge your laptop, it can charge the Legion Go and all that. Okay, that aside, is a car charger that is also capable of 100 watts. So it can fast charge 2 phones. It can super fast charge 1 phone really fast. And this thing is a lifesaver. I actually find myself charging my phone more when I'm in my car on my way to work, on my way back to work and stuff, because it's the fastest charger I have actually. It's like $50, but it's totally worth it. Because are you tired of your car charging your phone super slow? Because I would be in my car for 30 minutes and my phone would go up like 20%. I'm like, what the heck? With this, 30 minutes of charging gets it up like 60%. So it's totally worth having, especially if you need it in a pinch and you need a fast charge. Just plug your phone in. So yeah, I'll have probably more in-depth reviews on that. I probably spent too much time on this, but yeah, the other good thing about the Legion Go is that there's a trackpad on this thing. That is so much more useful than you can imagine. A trackpad It just helps navigating around Windows a lot. You know, you can just tap on the screen and stuff, but having that trackpad is really a lifesaver. Um, and ironically, everything about the controllers are just good. There's a lot of extra buttons that's going to be in my negatives, but other than that, they're not mapped to anything. They're not really that annoying. The controller's good and comfortable. Talking. Before I get into the negatives, though, I'm just going to say I have an affiliate link. I have both affiliate links to the products I talked about in the description. It doesn't affect the cost at all. If anything, it might give you a discount on the original price, I think. Either way, it helps me out. It doesn't affect you in any negative way at all with as far as the price or anything else goes. It just tells Amazon I sent you to that product, and it gives me like 6% or something of the sale, and that would really just help me out. It would be cool to see. And yeah, it'll help me just achieve my dreams of trying to make a supplemental income off YouTube and social media and stuff. All right. Shut up. Let's get into the negatives. As you just saw, this isn't even first on my list, but I'm gonna just address it real quick because it just happened on the footage earlier. It just crashed out of nowhere, and that was due on my 14th day. I was starting to think maybe I won't return this, like maybe I'll just not do that. But then it started not connecting to Wi-Fi, and it would randomly crash. And I updated the drivers multiple times. I did everything I needed to, and it just, I don't know. It's honestly making me mad just thinking about it because this device is so good, and then stupid stuff like that is like on my 14th, 15th day, that's all Best Buy gives you to return. I'm like, no, I'm returning this thing. It can't be worth it. Because if the whole point of this device, right, is I'm waiting at a doctor's office, or I'm on my lunch break at work, or I'm waiting for something, or blah blah blah, and I want to play some video games real quick that I could usually only play on a console or at home on a PC, or I got to whip out the gaming laptop, and even that's a lot of work. I got to plug it in and stuff. This thing is supposed to make that so you can just whip it out, turn it on, and play the game. But you can't do that if you're troubleshooting constantly, which is what I'm doing. Like, and PC gamers, I've been a PC gamer now for like over a year. That's how long it's been since I got my gaming laptop. I can't believe I still haven't made a review on it. That's aside the point. That's how long it's been since I've been a PC gamer, and I feel like we kind of get a little tiny bit used to having to troubleshoot. Because even on a normal laptop, this happens, but it doesn't happen to this extent. It, honestly, now that I'm thinking back, it was almost every day or every time I wanted to play on this thing, I'd have some sort of stupid issue that a console, like the Steam Deck, basically, just would not have. You know what I mean? So, and I'm sure the the ROG Ally has the same type of issues. Of course, these reviewers don't talk about it because they're paid to basically make the product sound good and point out like 2 or 3 little bad things. See, I'm unbiased. No, like, come on. It's so obvious. It's ridiculous, and it is actually against YouTube's policy. But the way they do it is like kind of toting the line and hard to tell if they're really doing it and stuff. But it's also against the law. So I don't mean to call out any of these YouTubers. They did help me make my decision, but it's like, okay, I'm kind of getting off topic anyways. This is supposed to basically be about the Legion Go, but I am expecting people who have already watched a lot of reviews to click on this video. So I'm sure you agree with what I'm saying. It's like, it's so ridiculous. It's scummy. It's immoral as far as I'm concerned because you're causing people to spend hundreds of dollars based off of what you say. And I do find that pretty scummy if you're being like disingenuous in your reviews or just straight up dishonest. Anyways, the actual first thing on my list was the lowest brightness on this thing is way too bright. Way too bright, man. I wrote here on my notes, it's comparable to the S23 Ultra on 35%. I'm going to double check that and test it, and I'll put the footage right now. You probably might have already seen it. And I'm going to just relay that footage over this gameplay right here so that you can see, like, it's way too bright. You cannot play this in a dark room. You got to have some sort of ambient light going on if you're going to play it in the dark. You cannot play it in a pitch dark or, like, just really dark room. You got to have some lamp on or a dark lamp or, like, Christmas lights or something on, dude. Like, it's just way too bright. It's not going to be good for your eyes. If you're a weirdo who likes to play things in the dark on high brightness, it's not good for your eyes, dude. Stop doing that. Sometimes the fans are too loud. It just is what it is. I mean, shouldn't say too much about this. This is how gaming laptops, gaming computers are. This is just PC gaming, unfortunately. There's always loud fan noises, even with consoles. So there's no point in spending too much time in this. I will say if you're, like, you have a girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, and you're trying to play this while they're trying to sleep, there is a possibility that the fans will annoy them until they fall asleep or ignore it. Then it's like a background noise. But they can sometimes, unless you thermal throttle it yourself or get the settings yourself to where it won't get too warm. I'm getting mad on the footage. Unless you do that to make sure it doesn't get too warm, the fans are going to be very, very loud on this thing. But once you do that, you can still get good performance out of it, and then the fans will get quiet and stuff. I even wrote here, definitely easy to ignore after a minute, but it might annoy your significant other in bed. Or just the people around you if you're in a quiet area. But again, just lower the TDP, lower your game settings. And that's the issue, right? You don't want to have to do all that, right? You're trying to get a quick gaming session in. And if you're spending several minutes on tweaking stuff to make it more ideal, all of a sudden you're like a game developer or whatever at that point. I don't know. It's just ridiculous. I wrote down here random crashes that I can't fix. You just saw that on the footage. It's like, what's going on? Again, if I'm at the doctor's appointment or I got a long wait or whatever, DMV, whatever, airplane, whatever, lunch break, whatever, and I'm enjoying myself, and then all of a sudden it crashes and I got to restart and mess with settings. It's just, what are we doing here? It's not fun anymore. And they are random. I wrote here random crashes that I cannot fix. I did write, it's not as big of a deal as it could have been, but it is a legitimate issue that is annoying. Occasionally the controllers just won't work. I mean, like, and then it requires you to restart. There's nothing you can do to fix it. You have to restart the whole device. It's ridiculous. The FPS mode, you notice how I didn't mention it at all? Yeah, because it's stupid, not worth it. I did it for like a few minutes. The controls are all messed up. You got to spend 10 years on controls. Not worth it. Not at all. Let's just get into bonuses now. The FPS mode is just not worth it. You're not looking at Legion Go footage anymore. This is literally a video that I'm either going to post it before or after this video. I'm just stealing my own footage because I don't have any and I ran out. So bonuses on the Legion Go. The Legion Go is great if you have a small space. Let's say you live in a tiny home, you live in a trailer, you're a van lifer, you are a kid or a teenager, and you only like have your own room or whatever, and it's not a big room because you're not a rich spoiled boy. This is good for you. It's good as long as you can troubleshoot it. You don't mind messing around in settings. You don't mind dealing with a few issues that are 100% going to happen. I'm sure that the issues I've brought up will be fixed in the future. Within 12 months of me uploading this video, I'm sure they'll be fixed and updated, and yeah, and then they'll have a Legion Go 2 probably in the later the later months of 2025 or early 2026 or something. But anyways, if you're someone in the scenario of a small space, you can get a keyboard, a monitor, and an eGPU, and they don't take up as much space as a desktop would, right? And you can use this thing as a desktop. With that eGPU, I've seen videos where this thing basically is like a really good gaming computer at that point. Get a nice monitor, nice keyboard, nice mouse, and you're good. And you can just unplug, bam, got the Legion Go, and now it's portable. You take it wherever you need to go. Once you get back home, plug it right in, bam. I mean, that's a great way of using it. But other than that, like, I returned it because of the issues I brought up. Random crashes, random not connecting to Wi-Fi. That's a big one, and I don't know what that was about, but I had to return it. Like, there was no question, and I'm glad it happened before my window. I was going to return it anyways, but that made me not even consider not returning it. But yeah. All right, so what's my personal final verdict? It's an amazing product. If you have a little over $800 to throw at it after taxes, and you are a busy person who misses being able to game as often as you used to when you were younger or whatever, and you don't have high expectations. You can't have high expectations for this thing, especially after the things I brought up. It is an amazing product, and when it works, it's working great. And I'm saying when it works like it's rare. No, it works most of the time. It's just these little inconveniences that I imagine if I had this thing for a year or something, I would be really fed up and annoyed. For me personally, the technology just isn't there yet. Moore's Law needs another year or two to get these small mobile chips able to play games very, very well without problems. They can already play them very, very well. I was very, 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 very surprised at the performance I was getting, especially in Mortal Kombat. I know it doesn't look like it, but that game is actually really demanding and has high expectations of hardware. And I was able to put everything on ultra and get 47 to 55 frames a second. And when I would just bring it down to high, like medium high, or no, even just high, it would be 60 FPS all the time and just occasionally drip down to like 54 or something, right? So the technology is amazing. You're not going to be disappointed at the gaming performance unless you just have ridiculous, unrealistic expectations. Then I don't even know why you're interested in a product like this. Moore's Law clearly isn't there yet to get like super good AAA ray tracing gaming out of a mobile device. But I think it will, based off the performance of these, I think it will be in a year or two, maybe 2, 3 years. I don't want it to take that long though, but yeah. So that's that. If let me know what you guys think in the comments. I want to keep talking about it, but I don't really have anything else to say. I don't know. I feel like I know I missed some stuff, but it is what it is. If you enjoyed the video and want to get in touch with me or anything like that, my stuff is in the description. All my socials are at Yo Mama's Bacon. And yeah, check the description if you're interested in those products. It'll really help me out if you make a purchase using those links. All right, peace out. Peace out. I hope I helped you.